Welcome to Adam's Athenaeum. Let's take a look together through the news and records of our times as we try to shed light upon the unvarnished truth. Thanks for coming back to listen to this episode where we are going to talk about why gas prices are Joe Biden's fault and how he could fix it in a heartbeat. And I'll explain why he won't fix it. Let's jump in. Today's episode, let's go over a couple of news articles from opposing political aisles, which we can then use as a point of reference for later in the video. From Emma Newberger at CNBC writes, in January of 2021, Biden suspends oil and gas leasing in slew of executive actions on climate change. President Joe Biden on Wednesday signed a series of executive orders that prioritize climate change across all levels of government and put the U.S. on track to curb planet-warming carbon emissions. Biden's orders direct the Secretary of the Interior Department to halt new oil and natural gas leases on public lands and waters and begin a thorough review of existing permits for fossil fuel development. The series of actions kick off the president's agenda to reduce the country's emissions and establish stricter targets under the Paris Climate Accord. Now from Dan Eberhardt at Fox News Opinion, he writes, a timeline of Biden's actions on oil and gas reveal where his priorities are. January 20th, 2021. One of Biden's first actions was to revoke approval for the Keystone XL pipeline and impose a moratorium on oil and gas leasing on federal lands and waters. Roughly 25% of U.S. production comes from federal areas. The Keystone XL cancellation confirmed to many policy watchers Biden's willingness to use one of climate activists' favorite tactics, blocking midstream pipelines to restrict upstream production. The moves were part of Biden's broader climate agenda and target to reduce U.S. greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030 and achieve net zero emissions by 2050. I hope that by now you have all seen a Joe Biden sticker with him holding his hand up and pointing to where is a text bubble with the words, "I did that." Most people see this at gas pumps, and I wouldn't be surprised if we soon see this near the baby formula. Joe Biden himself has directly caused the highest record gas prices in history. And not only could he fix it at the drop of a hat, he refuses in favor of his climate agenda. But even that is a lie. If this regime wants us to switch to electric vehicles, how will the cars get power? Many people will tell you, you plug it in. And that's correct. However, I would then also ask, and where does the electricity come from? Many people don't know the answer to this question. Before I give you the answer, we need to explain Biden's Green New Deal a little bit. First, the Biden regime wants to end fossil fuel and natural gas industries. Second, the Biden regime wants us to all switch to electric vehicles. And third, the Biden regime wants us to live off of solar and wind power exclusively, seeing as even California won't open new nuclear plants. Okay, with that in mind, I ask again, where does the electricity come from to charge your $40,000 new electric vehicle? The electricity comes from a coal-burning fossil fuel plant, usually. So don't preach to me about ending fossil fuels and emissions being bad when you are taking away Americans' ability to drive and suggesting they use electric vehicles. Your electric vehicle may not have emissions or fumes that it blows out. However, the amount of coal that has to be burned into the atmosphere to charge your fancy car is also extremely negative and potentially worse. Instead of producing our own natural oil and transferring it via pipelines, Biden would rather move coal and oil by trains, ships, and trucks, which use far more harmful emissions than an underground pipeline would ever release. So to tell me that this regime is doing any of this to help the environment, it's a truly unpoetic lie told right to your face. Biden and his press secretary and all of the Marxist news media organizations lie to your face every day by telling you that Russia has anything to do with the rising cost of oil. They tell you it's Putin's fault. it's climate change, it's inflation or supply chain issues. These are all lies. Did you know that before Biden took office, the US used to be a net exporter of oil, meaning we sold more oil than we bought? Now we struggle to buy from other nations because we closed our pipelines. We allowed Russia to complete pipelines in their country, and some other countries don't even deal in the US dollar anymore as the main source of monetary funds. These countries have switched to China's yen. Let us not also forget that Biden also rejoined the Paris Climate Accord within his first month of the presidency. The short story of the Paris Climate Accord is that all countries who are in the accord have agreed to curb emissions of various types by certain target years. Basically, the US is one of the lower polluters in the industrialized world, and China is the biggest polluter. The US is fined heavier for not hitting target dates or goals, whereas China can send out pollutants into the air at exorbitantly higher levels than what was agreed to in the Paris Climate Accord, yet they aren't fined or sanctioned. To conclude, if Biden hadn't restricted new gas leases, closed or restricted use at certain pipelines, or made laws or executive orders rendering some facilities inoperable, gas prices wouldn't be over $5 a gallon. If Biden hadn't taken on this green initiative, introduced to him by the democratic socialists who practice and teach Marxism, gas prices wouldn't be at $5 a gallon. If Biden hadn't taken the US from a net exporter of oil to needing to buy dirty oil from our enemies and others who would price gouge us, gas prices wouldn't be at $5 a gallon. If Biden realized that Putin is making money off of the oil he produces or receives from the European nations, then Biden could quit blaming Putin for our prices being over $5 a gallon. If Biden put America and American workers, families, and America's best interests at heart, gas would not be $5 a gallon. If Biden wasn't continually sending billions of dollars worth of aid to Ukraine, gas wouldn't be $5 a gallon. If ships, truckers, and trains didn't have to carry fuel because we produced our own, gas would not be $5 a gallon. Do I really need to keep going? Do you really need any more proof? Apparently, some people need to hear this, as some people are out there screaming like lunatics, raging about how high gas prices are for all the wrong reasons. I found this clip from a YouTuber whose channel name is Black Conservative Perspective, where he found a TikTok video of a woman raving about the religious right being at fault for high gas prices at Costco, in her nice shades and fairly nice looking jacket and decent looking car, from what I can see. Let's check out the video real quick, and after this video be sure to check out his channel and show his videos some love. He's got some great videos and a ton of content.
Let's get into this video from, again, what appears to be a Democrat liberal woman who voted for this, right? Let's get her reaction to all of this and see what we can take away from it. Take a look.
$98 to fill up the tank today. $98. $98.
Okay.
I have to decide between buying gas or buying food. And guess who wins? Because I have to get to the job that I need to buy anything at all. That doesn't pay me enough. And people want to donate $1,000 to cats. 98 goddamn dollars at Costco to fill up my tank. $98. $5.50 a tank. $5.50 a gallon at Costco. $5.50 a gallon at Costco. This is the work of the fucking religious right. Listen to Robert Reich, who clearly, who gives us all of the evidence about how our poverty is a choice that our government made for us. A CEO is not worth 351 times what I get paid. Ever. You, religious right, who are doing this and have been doing this to us. You profiteering companies. you billionaires stealing us, breaking our backs, stealing from us, profiteering off of us. Let me repeat, I have to decide between buying food or gas. Guess which one?
So, I'm going to make a broad generalization here, which may not be accurate, but generally, people who think like this and act like this are usually the ones responsible for voting in politicians who made situations like this. These type of women, generally, are referred to as racist white Karens. However, this happens in men too, with them screaming in almost the same pitch. And this behavior bothers even me. How, as an adult, can you be that upset and mad and full of hate and vile, and be so absolutely wrong as to the root cause of what's upsetting you? How can you have your facts so wrong and still be so mad? Adults who are willfully ignorant, or rather, adults who refuse to hear the truth and accept that they might be wrong, are a real problem in society, and they honestly piss me off. We should all understand that everyone we talk to might know something we don't. Sometimes, when someone corrects you with facts, it's not to prove you wrong, but to help you see and share in the truth. We are sick, America. Look in the mirror. Or even better, look down at your phone to see the surface of so many problems that face our society. We act like insufferable know-it-alls who are led by leaders that truly are insufferable know-nothings. We need to get out and vote legally and en masse for the midterms and for 2024. We need to look into the people running for office in any capacity and see if they actually live up to what they say they will do in office. Joe Biden is a racist who flagrantly used the N-word with a hard ER at the end back in the day in Congress, who said he would shut down the gas and oil industries. He did exactly what he said he would do, yet people are upset. You voted for him. Research who you want to vote for. But one thing is for certain. Vote out all of these governors, mayors, sheriffs, congressmen and women, Senate and presidential candidates that you can. Replace them with the younger generation. We have one more shot to get America back on track and make her great again in 2024. And no, I don't mean that in reference to Trump. And I don't care which way you vote, just get out legally and vote. Don't let fear of rigged elections or your vote not being counted or your ballot lost or stolen hinder you from voting. If we all get up and vote, no matter what fraudulent actions may take place, enough real votes will turn the tide. Make your voice count. Make your vote mean something. And don't forget, make your vote so that gas goes back to being under $5 a gallon. Unlike with the Democratic agenda. Remember, I post videos every week, so I will see you here next week. I hope to see you then.